Hello, COMP100 scholars. This is Professor K here, and I'm going to be going through, actually, let me present my screen, but I'm going to be going through the guided project 1-3, which is your week 5 assignment or project. And let me bring that up. There we go. Okay, so I do not have access to SimNet for this, but Dr. Wintkamp has given me the instructions and the start file. So here's your instructions. This is what you're going to see when you log into SimNet. You're going to see, let me make sure I'm showing the right screen before I go too much down the road. Correct. Okay. You're going to see these instructions, and basically this are the skills that we're going to be covering in this project. So you're going to create and save a new workbook, which in Excel, a workbook is nothing more than a regular hard copy or electronic book. It has the book, and the book has pages. In Excel, you have the book, the workbook, and then you have tabs, and those tabs are worksheets within the workbook. So we're going to create and save a new workbook. We're going to change the zoom size and unfreeze panes, making it easier to see. We're going to copy a sheet from one workbook to another. We're going to rename and color the sheet tabs. We're going to format some labels and values, use the fill handle to copy a formula and fill a series, change alignment and the font size, merge cells, adjust column width and row height, set indents and apply borders, use page layout view to insert a footer, and then set a print area. Now I'm going to be going through this project, the guided project 1-3, using a Mac computer. Now, about 90 to 95% of all the commands that we go through today on the Mac computer will work on a PC or a Windows-based computer. There are some slight differences, and when you log into SimNet, it'll recognize the computer system that you have, and it'll switch your instructions automatically. So the first thing that happens is you download your file, right? You go and you download your start file, and it's going to put it in your downloads folder. And I, again, strongly recommend that you do not work with it here. You want to create and manage some form of appropriate file management on your computer. And what that means is, and I'll show you, so I have my OneDrive from DeVry University, which you have access to. Just work with DeVry Tech Support. They'll help you get the OneDrive set up, and then it's a repository that's in the cloud, so you don't have to worry about backing it up. It's automatically backed up. If your computer was to crash, you can get all your data and your files from the cloud and download it to your computer again. OneDrive allows you to work on it, and it'll automatically save it to OneDrive. It will can also be set up to store a copy of it locally on your computer. So if you lost your internet connection, you could still do the project. You wouldn't be able to submit it, but you could still do the project if you had your instructions downloaded. So you're going to see here that I have a folder off of my root folder called OneDrive DeVry University. I have a folder called Classes Taught. Now you'll probably create one, or should create one, called Classes Taken. And then within there, I have all of the terms that I've taught. You would have all the terms that you're taking classes. I label it this way so it sorts it in numerical order, 2016-01. So it puts 2026-01, and so 2026-03, which is our next term, would come after this. And I put the January 2026 after it. It's just for readability. But you're going to go in here and you're going to see that there's a COMP100 folder, which I have teaching another class, BIS 155, and I'm also helping Dr. Woodcamp with the Mac tutorials for COMP100. And then within there, you're going to see I have the weeks that I'm doing my videos. So we're in week 5, and I have the instructions, but I don't have my file. My file was downloaded here. But with these two Finder windows open, I can take this and drag this file right over to here, and now I'm working with that file. When I upload it to SimNet, it will remember that it's coming from that location. And then later on, when I need to go back to either make some corrections or finish working on it, all I got to remember is I'm working on my COMP100 for September 2026, week 5, and I can navigate to it right away. So let me open this up. I do not need the Finder window anymore. I'm going to take this and bring this over. And I'm going to move these instructions off because I can expand this window and make it easier to look at. Just know that when I'm looking over here, I'm looking at my instructions. I'm not trying to ignore you. And when I'm looking over here, I'm looking at what you're seeing, which is the actual worksheet. So I've expanded it. So step 1 says open it, and then you may have to enable editing. Okay, so if you get a banner up here that says this is in read only and you must click here to enable editing, that means that your system did not automatically recognize where the file came from, and it's protecting you. So it's going to give you a second to say, hey, do you really want to open this file? For you to do anything with the file, you do have to click enable to enable editing. Once you do, the banner will go away. The banner's usually right in this area. If you're clicking and trying to do something in your workbook and nothing's happening, just come up here and check and see if that banner's there. If it is, just click enable editing and you'll be good to go. Again, in Excel, this is the workbook, and a workbook has multiple pages or tabs or worksheets. This is worksheet number 1, tab number 1, sheet number 1. Okay. All right. So it says open the workbook. Zoom out and unfreeze panes. Click the zoom out. Let me make sure I got the right. Yep, guided project 1-3. Okay, it says click the zoom out button in the status bar 5 times to return to 100%. So here's one option down here. You can see down at the bottom, here's my zoom. And so I can be, I can expand it up. Okay, or I can expand it down, and I want to be at 100%. And there we go. You see how it says 100%? I'm at 100%. Click the unfreeze pane button, view tab, windows. So up here in the view, here's our freeze panes, and we want to unfreeze the panes, and it says to click the unfreeze panes button. Okay. So for here, there are no panes frozen right now. So if there was, if I was to freeze the top pane, okay, and then I came up here, then I could unfreeze the panes. So I'm unfreezing the panes. Okay, I can click the switch windows button. Let me make sure. Oh, I have to, actually, there's 2 worksheets I have to open, which is the Excel 2020 guided project and then the wherever 01.xls. Give me a second. Let me find the correct other file. Okay, and here you'll see this is the blank workbook that we opened. And then if I click on window and then resources, this is the wherever-01 file, which is the second file that we're working with. This is the one where we want to resize this by clicking it 5 times to get it to, 5 times, not 6, to get it to 100%. Okay. And then we want to click the unfreeze panes. So here's our panes, and we want to unfreeze. Okay. So now we can see all of our data. We want to click the switch windows button, which is in the view tab, and it's in the window. And let me close this. And so you can see here that right here is my second. This is the blank one, okay? And we can switch back and forth, and we can see that both of them are open. So if I click here, I can go to the resources 1, and then I can click back here to window, and I can go back to the week 5 one. So I can see both of them independently. This way, if we wanted to, we can change them so we can see both of them at the same time. But right now, they just want to make sure that you can see all of them, and we want to go and make sure the wherever is being displayed. Okay. Now it says copy a worksheet to another workbook. So we want to right click the sheet 1, and we want to choose move or copy. Let me just read ahead here and see. Yeah, so we're basically, right now you can see that this worksheet is blank. Okay, so we're going to take the data from this worksheet and we're going to copy it. So I'm right clicking on it. I'm going to come up here to move and copy. And it says I want to create a copy. To book, we want to move it to the project, the guided project. And we want to click copy, and it's going to move it. The before sheet is going to be at the beginning, sheet 1, and we're going to click OK. So now you're going to see in here, we have our original, which was blank, and now we have sheet 1, which has the number 2 in parentheses because it was named the same. And basically the same data was just moved over into our guided project 1-3. Now we want to double click sheet, the one we just copied over. We want to rename it. So they're saying double click it. And if we double click it, we're highlighting it. That is one way to do it. If I right click on this, I can come up here to rename, and it does the exact same thing. And we want to rename this as inventory. Okay, and we hit enter. And so that sheet is now named inventory. And we want to delete the old sheet 1, which is blank. So we're going to right click on it and just click delete. And it's just a warning, it's going to be gone. There's no way to recover. And yes, we want to delete it. So now we've got our guided project 1-3, looks just like our original worksheet. The data has been copied over. All right. So now it says fill a label series and delete a column. We want to click cell A4. There's cell A4. And we want to type WEA 001 and hit enter. Okay. And then select A4, double click it. Let's see what it's asking us to do. Oh, double click its fill handle, and we should see that this is the fill handle. When it turns to the black cursor with the white border, if I double click, it is going to take this data and it's going to copy it down, fill it to where it no longer sees contiguous data alongside of it. So it should stop at A39. So I'm going to double click here. Once this goes to the black cursor with the white border, double click, and you can see that it not only filled it, but it incremented it each one by one as part of the fill process. So I didn't have to type WEA001, then WEA002. I just had to type the first one, and then it automatically incremented those and filled them down. Now it says right-click the column J heading, and choose delete. And let's see, right click the column J heading. and click delete. It wants to, it's not telling us here, but we just want to remove the heading for column J. And the column J heading, let me make sure I didn't skip a step. Okay. Right click the column J heading and choose delete. So I don't think we want to delete the entire column. So I think it's actually wanting us to just delete the data, which is here and the delete key. And we'll figure out later on if that's exactly what it wanted us to do. So it says click H4. Here's H4. So this formula is taking, and you can see what the formula is doing. Here's the value, or it's displaying the results, 232.5. Up here's our formula bar. We can see that it says E4 times G4. Okay, so we can look over here and find E4 times G4 is giving us that. But if we double click on this, it gives us a better visual representation of what's going on. It says E4 gives us a blue color is multiplied by G4. Okay, and that's how we get the value there. Now, whenever you have something highlighted this where it's showing you the formula, you must hit the escape key. If you don't hit the escape key, it is actually going to, wherever you click, it's going to it can start changing the formula. So we want to double click here and see what the formula is, and then we hit the escape key. We're right back to where we were. So here it wants us to click H4. Double click the fill pointer. Same way. We want to copy this all the way down. So this is taking this entire formula, which is E4 times G4, and it's going to copy it all the way down. Now watch what happens when it does this. It doesn't copy it by making this E4 times G4. It's saying, well, you moved it down one cell, so I'm going to increment everything in there. I'm going to increment the row by 1, keeping the columns the same. So this one became E5 and G5. This is E6 and G6, E7 and G7. It's a way to say, this is my formula, and I want to copy it all the way down. Again, may not seem like a big deal because we only have, what, 37 rows in our data set. A row in a data set is also called a record, or 37 records. But what if this was 370,000 records? You wouldn't want to have to manually enter that in or manually drag it down and copy it. By double clicking when the cursor changes to the black plus sign with the white border, it will automatically fill it till it sees no more contiguous data. Now we want to take and display, it's saying merge across and center word wrap. So it's saying select A1 to A1 to I2. So this is the area A1, sorry, let me make sure I got this right. Yes. A1 to I2. We want to center this, merge this across. So it's displayed in the center as one cell, not positioned in column D, but so it's spread across, looks like a nice label. And the way to do that, let me see how they're going to ask us to do it. Click the merge and center button. So if we come back here to home, there's our merge and center button. And does it, and we want to merge across. Okay, so that merged across. and the labels are left aligned. Okay, select cell F3, F3, and click the expand formula bar arrow at the right edge of the formula bar. The label has a line break after the word or. You see how it has this, and we want to expand this so we can see that this is actually men's or, and then there's a line break forming a new line with women's. No. Now we want to click the wrap text button. The row height's going to adjust the label on 2 lines. So we want to wrap this text. See how when we click off of it, we can only see men's or and then the W and part of the O. But what we want to do is we want to click here, and then does it tell us exactly how it wants us to do it? It says we can go to the home and to the alignment, okay, so that we can change how this cell is being aligned, or we can right click on it and we can come over here to format cells. Okay, when it pops up, we have a tab here for alignment. And here we want to click wrap text. Let's make sure that's the only thing it wants us to do. And then we can click OK. You see what happens? It expands the row height so that we see everything, as opposed to we could have expanded the column so that we saw everything, but it asked us to expand the row height, so it put men's or on the first line and women's on the second line. And then it asks us to collapse the formula bar. Okay, so now we're on 9, and we're going to change alignment and format data. So select cells A4 to C39. A4 to C39. So this portion of our data set, this portion of our transactional information, which shows the product ID, the product, the color, and then size, quantity, and such. So it wants us to select A4 to C39 and click the increase indent button. Here's our increase indent button. Okay. And it says increase indent button once. And see how it moved all the data that we selected, it indented it one time. Okay, so we didn't have to touch each cell. We could highlight a group of cells, and whatever we do at that point, we'll do that same thing to all the cells. Now we want to select cells F4 to F39. F4, make sure I got it right, F39. And we want to center this to make it a little bit more readable. And here's our center button. Click center, and it moves it so everything is in the center of that column. Select cells G4 to I39, G4 to I39. So we're working with numerical information, pricing information. It says we want to click the number format. Here's our number. Okay. And we want to change this to currency. So instead of it being number, we want to make this currency. Now, when you select currency, it's automatically going to insert the dollar sign. Now, currency, the dollar sign is to the left of the first digit on the left side of the number. If it was accounting, you'll see what happens. If I change this to accounting, it's going to move the dollar sign all the way to the end. Now, these become the pound sign inside of a cell means that the data inside there, the number, is too large to fit inside the cell. That's what that means. But we're going to put this back to strictly to currency, and everything is displayed in there. So we've got currency. Select A1 to A2 and click the font size. And we want to choose 70 as the new font size. A1 to A2. See how it's highlighting as if the A1 and A2 stretched all the way across here. And we want the font size here to be 20. Okay. Select cells A3 to I13, A3 to I13. Let me make sure I got this right. A3 to I3. So we're going to work just with our headers. And our headers here, we want to click the bold button. And there's the bold button right there. So that made those all bold. And we want to choose the format button. So we're going to format our row height. And we want to change our row height for our label to be 35. And now you're going to see that that increased this row height to 35, and we've made them bold. Now we're going to display and calculate total inventory value. Click cell G40. And this is going to be G40, current inventory value at cost. Just make sure you're following exactly what it says in the instructions. Everything is highlighted in red, and make sure you know the first letter of the first three words is uppercase, the at is lowercase, and cost is uppercase. And then hit enter. Okay, and then select cell G40. Did I put that in the wrong spot? Oh, nope. Go back up here, G40, and we want this bolded. G40 is bolded. We want to align right button. So with that selected, here's our alignments. This is align left, align center, and align right. And we want to align it right. So that means it's going to start the last character in that cell is going to start at the rightmost position, and then everything else will move towards the left. So it aligns with the end of that cell. All right. And select cell H40. And here we want to come up here to data. Sorry. Formulas. And here's our auto sum. So we click auto sum, and you see how it is giving us, it tells us what we're summing. So it's highlighted everything that we're going to sum. So if I hit the tab key, that just took all of these numbers and it summed them up. And now it wants us to auto fit column H. Again, we've got these pound signs because this cell or this column width is not large enough to fit all of this data. So it puts pound signs in there. And so we have a couple of ways where we can auto fit this. We can take this and bring our cursor in between these two columns. And if I double click, you're going to see it's going to expand this to auto fit to the largest it needs to be so that we remove all the pound signs. I'm going to do a Control Z and move it back. We can also click on here and we can come down here to our column width. And here's where we would manually change our column, but we don't want to do that. We want to auto fit. So we double click here and it will auto fit, removing the pound signs and expanding it to the maximum, the most it needs to be to clearly display all the data in any cell in that column. Okay, now we want to add some borders. So A3 to I-40. So A3 to I-40. So basically the entire, and I'm thinking I know what they meant by here. We'll get to that. But A3 to I-40. Here's A3 all the way down to I-40. So we have our entire data set selected, including our new grand total that we put down here for the value. A3 to I-40, click the borders drop down and select all borders. So we come back here to home. Here's our borders, and we want all borders. So you can see how I've highlighted everything, giving us our rows and columns. Everything has been highlighted, or all the borders are there. Select cells A4 to I-40, A4 to I-40. Okay, just the data, and A4 to I-40, and we're going to change the row height to 20. And again, you can come up here to Format, Row Height 20, hit Enter, and now we've got a little bit more room in there. It's easier to read, and we have all of our data formatted the same way. Now it says press Function, Control, left arrow. So let's say we're sitting here, Function, Control, left arrow. Brings us up to the home position. It's good practice to get in when you're working with spreadsheets, especially if you're going to share the spreadsheet with someone else. When you're done working with a tab, you want to put your home position, or put your focus, set your focus back up to A1, the upper leftmost position. This way is if there's multiple tabs and you've sent it to someone and they're going from tab to tab, you don't see the spreadsheet moving all over the place. It's always set at A1, and then it's a clear representation as the user is viewing all of the tabs. So that's why it wants us to go to press Function, Control, left arrow, puts us in the upper home position. Now we want to use the page layout view to insert a footer. So here's our page layout view, okay? And it wants us to insert a footer. So let's see. It's not in our margins. Oop, page layout. Let me make sure that that's what it's asking us to do. It's saying, so the all of step 12 is telling us we want to insert a header and a footer into this file. So when we print it out, it's got a nice header and a nice footer when it's printed out. So we're going to go to page layout, which we are, okay? And we're going to go to page setup, and that's going to give us our options for how we're going to set up this. And we want to go to header and footer. So here's our header, and our header, it says, oh, so it wants us to go to footer. Okay, footer. Click the right selection. Let me see where it's putting this. So back to step 12. Use the page layout view to insert a footer. Click the page layout view button in the status bar. So there's our view, page layout. Now we're going to see, this is how this current file is broken up. You can see how it's spread across multiple pages. Here's our header. And then if we scroll down, There's our footer. Okay, so it says it wants us to go to the footer button, click the right section. Here's our right section. Okay, and in the header and footer elements group, we're going to click to add. So here's our header and footer, and we want to click, go to the footer button. Click the file name button. Here's our file name. And what that symbol is, the ampersand, left bracket, file, right bracket, means that Excel, when it goes to display this or print it out, whatever the file name is of this file, it will insert that in there. So if the file name changes, the document will change. That's how you have a way to say this file, when it was printed, came from this document. And then you have other options. You can put the file path, so where the actual path from C:\/ all to wherever it's stored on your system. But it just wants us to put the @ file, and it says click a worksheet cell to see the file name. So if we just click up here, you're going to see the file name is right there. Okay, and that matches the name of the file, which is up here, and it inserted it right on to the rightmost footer. Make sure it's rightmost footer button, right section. Switch to normal view. So we can come up here to view and normal view. So you're not going to see the headers and footers. And now we want to change the page setup options. So we're going to click on File and choose Print. Okay, and right here we're seeing how it's breaking it up, right? So let me make sure I'm on the right. Click File on the Excel menu bar and choose Print. This is the Excel menu bar. We click File and we click Print. And it wants us to click the next page button 2 or 3 times to see how the worksheet spread. So you can see how, if we just scroll down, you see how it's spreading across. So you've got, it's too much data to fit this way on one page, and there's too much data horizontally to fit on one page. So what would be one page, we have 4 pages. We want to scale this to fit so it fits on one page. And scale to fit, 1 page by 1 page. So it reduced the columns, it reduced the rows, it changed the font a little bit so that it's proportionally the same, but it's reduced to fit on 1 page. And you can see that it's sitting here on 1 page. Now we can return to the worksheet. So we can cancel out of this, and it's set to be on 1 page. And now we want to set a print area. So we're going to select cells A3 to F11. So we only want to print this. Okay, so we select that, and we're going to click the print area button, which is, again, is on the page layout. And here's our print area, and we want to set the print area. So that's all we're going to print. And we want to go back up to our, function, control, left arrow, brings us up to position A1, the home position, to set focus up there. And now we want to select the print preview, go to the Excel menu, File, Print. Let's see, what is it asking us? Yep. and it's going to preview it. You can see how we're only printing that data because that's what we set as our print area. And then we want to cancel out return, leaving us up here. We're going to hit the save button, and now you're in a position to be able to upload it. So if you're ever printing something out, and really what it meant us to do, go before you upload it, you want to click here and you want to delete the entire column. That's what it meant, was to delete the entire J column. It doesn't want that there anymore. So now we just have columns A through I. But if you're ever printing something out, and like now, you print it out, and you're going, I'm not getting all the data. You want to come in here and go to your print area and clear your print area so that you do not miss any data. And then if you're getting too much information, then you can always set your print area. And here you can see that my print area was selected so that I only got this information when I go into file and print. And there's all the data that I'm getting. That you can see, okay, well, why am I only getting that data? And you're scaled to fit 1 page by 1 page. So I should be getting all the data, but I'm not. You want to go in and check your print area. Okay, so that takes care of it. You should close it. Now do your standard upload process. And you don't need to have this file open anymore, so we can close this one as well. And that should be that. And then upload this. You'll get your results. Of course, if there's any mistakes, it'll give you the section and the step number that the mistake is on. You can look at it. It'll tell you what it should have been, what you did, and then from there, you'll get exactly what you need to do to correct it. Do all your corrections at one time, then resubmit it, and hopefully you'll be fine. I think you get 3 attempts, maybe more attempts on these. And let me do one more thing. I will open up this. And just in case, this is my cell phone number. And this is my email address. If you want to text me if you have any questions, or if you would like to schedule some time to go through this, just text me and I'll be more than happy to help you. If you have a question, you want to detail something out, you want to send me the file because something's happening, you can email me at this email address. I can take a look at the file and then give you a call and let you know what's going on. Again, this is for Excel for week 5 using a Mac computer. I hope this was helpful. And don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. Thank you very much.